And just walk right past me. Just, yeah, keep going, girl. Yeah.
If I don't do this for the 30th time, what is up, y'all? Here I go every time, missing everything. Here we go. It is your girl. Welcome to China. Let me get my headphones right. Let me get the microphone. All right. It's your girl. Welcome to China, y'all. You already know why we're here. Child, we've been here for multiple days at a time. We are exposing Miss Jamie Lynn. We still waiting for Brittany to come out. But if y'all are new here, my name is Welcome to China. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over the Popcorn Planet. Shout out to Popcorn Planet on YouTube. You know I love a good YouTuber interview because we really be down to it. We're going to be watching the Popcorn Planet video basically exposing Jamie Lynn Spears from her ex-sister-in-law, basically her baby daddy, her first child's father. Okay, so the kid she had when she was 16 and pregnant, this is his sister, now coming out to speak about some things. Couple things to go over. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I've made my way to 2,000 subscribers. I'm on my way to 2,500. Hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, hit that thumbs up. We're going to get into some things. Now, let's go ahead and check this thing on out. Now, many people don't know who like Ashley Aldridge is, so I'm just going to do a little rundown before we go ahead and react. But on Twitter, you see this has been trending a lot, and a lot of people are already talking about this and already exposing. Um, you see here, Popcorn Planet, that's Andy. He is already, they got the hashtag Believe Brittany. This is him and the daughter. So we're going to go ahead and get into this today. This is going to be absolutely crazy. If y'all are not here and haven't been here, make sure you guys check out my page because I did a whole expose on Jamie Lynn Spears. We did a huge reaction on there. So make sure you guys check that out on my profile as well. But while we're here, we're about to go ahead and check out this Popcorn Planet interview. We got to get through Euphoria, y'all. Who's ready for Euphoria tomorrow? We got to get through the good old ads. Shout out to Popcorn Planet. This is a good one. This is juicy. Okay. Skip this ad. All right, so yeah, as I said, this is on another YouTuber's platform. Shout out to him. We're going to watch this. We're going to react. We're going to do the same thing we did. Now, this is going to be a different reaction because we don't have to be on her ass. We're going to be agreeing with her. We're going to be talking about Jamie Lynn and what she did. So hopefully the sensitive shoulders won't be too heavily on us today. We're ready. Jamie Lynn Spears, y'all are here. You've seen it already, so you're in for a ride. Okay. All right. Okay. Tomorrow is probably going to be the better one, but it's a two-part, so we're going to go through the first part of it today, y'all. Let's get into it. All right.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and we've been talking a lot about Jamie Lynn Spears' book, Things I Should Have Said. She's asking everyone out there to use their voice. Well, I'm so excited because we have an exclusive interview with a very special guest who I want to introduce right now, Ashley Aldridge Haverford. Welcome here to the show, Ashley. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
They said Haverford. Tell me why I thought it was Harvard. I can't spell or read or Haverford. I thought her last name was Harvard, child.
Now, Ashley, Jamie Lynn's out there with her new book talking about everybody speaking the truth. And you have a truth you want to share. As someone who was reading her book, she talks a lot about Casey Aldridge, who is your brother, correct?
Right.
The reason we got connected is because you put this out on Facebook. You said, oh, Jamie Lynn Spears wants us all to stand up and use our voice.
So, y'all, this is the reason why this interview has happened. This is why we're checking for her. Obviously, like, we're not speaking to the direct source, but she was around. Her and Jamie Lynn got pictures together. So this was the post that she made on January 18th after all of that. And then a couple days later, you know, she's on here doing an interview with Popcorn Planet. So sis, she put out that post like she's a liar on her personal Facebook page. So he's going to read it to us, but that's why we're here. That's why she brought us some importance for y'all, like what's going on. This is the Facebook page, the Facebook post that she made personally that started an uproar.
Voices, huh? That is why you wrote the book, right, Jamie Lynn? Well, good. I got a lot of truth to tell about you too, Miss Perfect. Get your PR team ready, little sheltered, spoiled, because I'm stepping in now and the lies are going to come to the light quick. First of all, wow, did that feel good to write, Ashley, to finally get that out of your system?
That feels so good. I've been waiting for so long.
Casey is the father of Maddie, which was Jamie Lynn's first child when she was teen mom. And Casey was the father in that instance. And in the book, as I read it, she doesn't speak very fondly of Casey. There's a few moments where she tries to sort of seem like she's doing the right thing, but she paints Casey as this, you know, a substance abusing, you know, never around, philandering person, and she's always struggling with what to do, yada, yada, yada.
Want to know what's funny? We've been sitting here reacting to the Jamie Lynn call her daddy, and keep in mind, she didn't mention nothing about Casey in the situation. So I guess it is more in the book. I know I didn't read it. He did. He's a saint. So clearly she didn't have to all be about Brittany. I mean, did Alex make the questions more about Brittany? You know, did Jamie Lynn want to be more about Brittany? Because I guess she was talking about Casey too. So we could have checked her about this too. But I guess she was throwing everybody under the bus and trying to clear her name from family, baby daddy, the sister, everything. Child. Okay.
Did you read parts of this book? Do you feel like she's being unfair to your brother?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel like she's being unfair. She acts like Casey just disappeared and abandoned Maddie, and that is not what happened. Actually, what happened was she made him get out of Maddie's life. I mean, she wouldn't answer the phone. She wouldn't let Casey see Maddie. And then she also did the same thing for us. So he did not abandon her, but that's what she is writing in her book. That's one of the lies.
Look, this is a tough conversation because
I do have a question as to why Casey isn't doing an interview. I mean, he's just as known about, I mean, a little bit more than his sister. I mean, is it something legal? I mean, I'm sure something weird going on, or he don't want to touch the media, but it's interesting. I mean, the sister had to get some type of approval. I'm sure they talked about it or something. I believe her and brother have a relationship. So he knew she was going to come on here, but I wonder why it was the choice for her. So maybe we'll find that out, but that's what's coming to my mind now.
When kids are involved and divorce is not, I hate to get involved in this, but I've spoken to Ashley and I've heard this story. I wanted to make sure she shared with you, and I'm really grateful she is sharing it because I think it's important. Just because someone has history with substance abuse, that doesn't mean they shouldn't have any opportunity to be there as a father. And I think it's important because I know you're very open to it all too. You're not afraid of talking about Casey's life. It's important also to remember just how young they were when all this went down, right? They were very young kids. She got pregnant at 15. He was young himself.
Yeah, I said this yesterday on the stream. I don't care that he had like priors or whatever. I mean, we all know somebody who got a prior that's a daddy. The couple people that we know, I'm sure that we can count on our fingers. It wasn't like he was distributing and he didn't kill somebody. He didn't, it wasn't nothing crazy, crazy. Little drugs, probably a little robbing. I think, not little, but y'all know what I'm saying. In the grand scheme of the things that people do in life, he was more than capable, and he could be forgiven by the Lord for his sins. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
And they didn't really know a lot of what they were doing. They weren't prepared for this. And so,
Right.
he was a father. They were out. Was he a good father in your eyes? Did he like being a father?
Oh, yes, he really is. He's a great father, and he's a great uncle.
So she speaks actually pretty fondly of him. What she gets into is more of his issues with addiction, and which we'll get to, but also his cheating. Now she says, oh, we finally confirmed it, but he's denies it, right? You're telling me he never cheated on her. Here he is in OK Magazine. I'm no cheater. Was he a cheater? Was he sleeping around in Louisiana with other women?
No, that was absolutely false. He was not a cheater. He was not cheating on Jamie Lynn. It's really funny that she even put that in the book.
So she's saying that cheating not real. I mean, I don't put cheating past nobody. I mean, they were like 16, 17, 18. So I would assume that he was talking to some other girl or something was in the mix. Again, in my teenage mind of how things go, if they want to be together later in life, let bygones be bygones. If they really want to be high school sweethearts forever. So again, y'all let me know, but Casey seemed all right to me so far. He ain't the best, but he's certainly not the worst.
Because the opposite was actually true, where she was cheating on Casey while she was pregnant.
Wait. So she was the one sleeping around behind Casey, because in the book, which I've read, she's all prim and proper. I didn't know about boys. I blah blah blah. That's not the case. She knew about boys.
Yeah. She knew about boys.
She was Zoe 101, child. She was getting all the attention from the little boys down in Louisiana, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm sure Jamie Lynn was someone her oits too. Her oits.
How do you know? Could that be BS? Who is this? There's someone reliable, credible that who can confirm that he had an affair with Jamie Lynn Spears?
Yeah, it is. It's actually someone that I've known for a long time. I only found out for 100% fact that about 4 years ago that this was true. But I had heard rumors, forever. But yeah, I did find out for sure, and definitely a credible source. Definitely disappointing to hear.
Yes, this is giving small town drama. See, this is city boy. Listen, it's definitely they talking. Like no one was checking for Jamie Lynn. It's small talk in Louisiana. Like she found out 4 years ago. Nobody exposed that she was cheating on him. This is just now coming out. So I mean, she was poking the bear. So expose it, sister. Okay then.
Here, but that happened. So
Wow. Well, there you go. The tea is being spilled. The reveal. I'm sure Jamie Lynn's going to love this interview, Ashley. So you're getting what you want, because this is going to, I can't imagine she wants to be out there having that sort of stuff out there, but you're bringing the truth. So that's what happens. So as we go through the timeline, here of Jamie Lynn, she moves out. She talks in the book about Casey having an accident, stuff, dealing with pills and things that substances he's getting addicted to. She doesn't shy from that, and that's something he did have a problem with. But she's sort of there and doesn't want to. She makes a weird point, Ashley, where she's like, I didn't want the press to label me as someone leaving my, husband who's been through an accident. She's always thinking about what the press is going to say about her. Is that something you noticed too? Like she was more worried about what everyone thinks versus what husband who's been through a.
So this is an excerpt from the book. In human decency, I would put my anger aside and find the strength to support him during his recovery. And to be completely honest, I also had concerns on how the media would report on this development if I left. Jamie Lynn, heartless teen star, abandons fiance after car crash, or insensitive Spears leaves her baby daddy in crisis. Girl, when you were young, you were not thinking any of that at all. I hadn't endured years of anguish and sacrifice, my self-respect. Yeah, again, it's just all pity, 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 pity. I'm not going to read the rest. Y'all see it.
An accident, she's always thinking about what the press is going to say about her. Is that something you noticed too? Like she was more worried about what everyone thinks versus what the right thing is?
Oh yeah, definitely. She's very narcissistic. She's very worried about her appearance and goes with whatever is going to make her look the best. So I thought that was very cold-hearted too. That whenever I read that, I was like, wow. I really thought while, she was staying in the hospital with my brother and I apparently fake crying and stuff like that, that she was upset about the accident. I really thought that she was genuine, but apparently she was just acting, and she really just felt obligated to be there, which that is.
So what she's saying is coming back when she put that in the book, when it was happening in real time, Jamie Lynn seemed to be the most caring, most whatever. During the time she was fake crying, acting like, I guess she was fake concerned. So they saying she was fake then, and now when she wrote the book, she was saying she didn't basically want to be there and she was forced. Child, that seems like a lot to go through and to go over. Hey, Saucy Mom, shout out to you. Y'all, if y'all had not seen my last video, we're going to take a quick break so I can just go ahead and pull it for you. Make sure you guys check that out because I went over every single thing. I went over the conservatorship. I went over the first part, the second part. So make sure you guys go to my page. It's here. That's first part, number 1. If you guys missed it, make sure you guys check that out. Okay. And then I did part 2. Make sure you check out part 2 because we are already exposing Miss Jamie Lynn. But this is important if y'all have not seen these to make sure you watch all of these. So now you can get here. Okay. So let's get into it. And thank you so much, Saucy Mom. I like your name. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, thank you. How sweet. Make sure y'all hitting that thumbs up, subscribing. We're here. All right. A failed attempt for damage control. Period. The victim
is disgusting and pathetic, but good to know, Jamie Lynn.
Yeah, Jamie Lynn does that a lot throughout the book where she'll reveal things that she doesn't understand is actually revealing like the really awful sides of her. She's like a walking contradiction.
Apparently not.
She doesn't know about the conservatorship, but then she does. She never makes much sense. She's a very weird person. But so yeah, you can attest that not the best person, always out for herself. Brittany labeled her a selfish little brat. Is that something you would use as well?
Oh yeah, she's definitely a selfish little brat. She likes to get her way, and if she doesn't get her way, she gets very, very angry.
People with ADHD.
All right, so they saying that she's a brat. They saying that she gets very angry sometimes. We're gonna go ahead and let this ad run. So, thoughts, feelings, questions, concerns. To me, he asking the right questions. I agree. He's a good interviewer. This is actually much better. That's why I said I have hope for our YouTubers. And it seems like, hey, she gets to see a lot of how Jamie Lynn moves throughout the child's life. Like they have whole 18 years. I think they probably got 10 more years left, 8 more years left. How old is the girl? Probably 12 something. She's been there for 10 plus years, listening to her brother complain. So she knows a lot of what's going on because she's connected to the family. Again, I'm wondering why he wasn't here, but hey, we don't take it. All right, the commercial is back.
Devil's advocate here, Ashley, because I know you're open for it. But while they did show up, and Jamie talks about this in the book, all of them did unite when Maddie had a terrible accident. Maddie's father did show up. Jamie, her new husband, was there, and everyone was praying. This was a pretty terrible story. She was 8 years old, had an ATV accident, even though I don't know why she was kind of young to be riding that ATV. If you ask me, Ashley, is that something that happens out there in the South? Would you have 8-year-olds on ATVs like that?
You see it, but it's not safe. Like I have an 8-year-old right now, and he's not allowed to get on one of those. It has to be the actual the 4-wheeler or side by side that's his size. She should have never been on that.
So she does that. Thank God.
So they saying that she basically could have really hurt the child in the nicest way possible. They were saying that the child was almost crushed with the ATV and she was too young to be riding on the four-wheelers. You know, everybody go mudding, everybody do all that type of stuff in the South. You know, if anybody's Southern, let me know. I don't think the 8-year-old supposed to be on the big old ATV. I mean, shit, I'm 5'3". I know this gonna. So they basically saying she ain't good parent. I think that's what they were saying in other terms.
Maddie's okay, and I don't want to keep judging and hammering
Right.
that. It's a heartbreaking chapter, and I do feel for them and all that went through. It's a real scare. I'd be remiss to not talk about obviously Casey's issues with drugs, etc. This is something he struggled with for a long time. I don't want to ignore this, but do you feel like this was really putting Maddie at jeopardy? Did he ever, to your knowledge, can you verify, like, was this usage and problems he was having ever, taking it out on Maddie where Maddie could be in danger?
No, never. And that's why I don't understand why.
If anybody in the comments, can y'all just let me know in the comments what kind of drugs he was possessing? I don't want to go back and forth on the screens, but does anybody know what kind of drugs he was possessing? Was it marijuana? Was it cocaine? Like, what was it? Like, cause come on, like I'm feeling like they in the South, they don't do them type of things, like those intense drugs. So I'm really curious. Let me know.
Why Jamie Lynn refuses to let Casey or any of Casey's family see Maddie, because Maddie has never been in danger here or around us, and she's never been anything but loved. So it makes no sense.
He's had two run-ins, just to be fully, put it all out there. One in 2019 for a possession, and then there was another incident with counts of burglary. I mean, again, nothing that puts like endangerment or it wasn't even like he was hitting people. Clearly issues that.
It seemed like dog was down on hard times. He might be a little street bird. She might have got her a little down home street bird. It just seemed like he a little ratchet, he a little ghetto. It just seemed like he a little. He seemed like he one of the boys. Seemed like he robbed a little somebody in the gas station. Listen, we all know we got some criminals who are fathers. This is not good, bad, or ugly, but prefer to have this type of daddy. Make sure you bring me something home, daddy, than the lying, narcissistic mother. Just saying. But I didn't know that it was this early in 2019. Is that 2019? Why he still robbing, stealing? Okay, now I'm about to look into that. What he doing?
One would have with substance abuse or looking for more. Clearly something he's struggling with and needed help. Obviously, he needed some help. Is that fair to say? He had addiction. He had substance abuse problems. Was he trying to get help? Did Jamie Lynn ever try to help him get help?
Jamie Lynn never participated in Casey getting help. Casey was trying to get help. I mean, he has definitely gotten help, but at the time he was trying to get help when they were together, and she never participated.
All right, y'all. I found it. I looked up. Oh, so TMZ had an article. Jamie Lynn's baby daddy. Okay, so he was on Oxy. Okay, so he's a pill head. So he did the Oxy, Xans. Okay, so yeah, it seems like he has a pill addiction. And I watched Dope Sick on Amazon Prime about the OxyContin epidemic, whatever it's called. I was about to say pandemic. Let's get this money. But man, Casey looked rough, child. I mean, he just a little burlier now. He wasn't a bad looking guy. Jamie Lynn looks so different too. That shouldn't look like Ted Cruz there, y'all. But okay, so he's a pillhead. So there we go. That again, people work. It's not good, but people work and function on pills. But okay, this makes sense. He's a pillhead, and people definitely take on. This is what sadly adults turn to is pills. So that's his thing. People will rob and kill and steal for some pills. I'm just saying. So all right, this makes sense. He's a pillhead. So maybe the sister on the behalf talking for him. I had to get that out there. I need to know what he was doing.
Even whenever asked by the counselors at the rehab facility, they told her it would be good if you would come, and learn more about it and learn how, this works and counsel together. She refused to be any part of his recovery process. And not only that, but every time that he would try to go somewhere to get help, she would actually have him served with papers.
See, yeah, she moves with no empathy. She wasn't moving like, all right, let's try to get my baby daddy clean for the sake of the child. She's just saying, forget it. I want him to be a bad father. I'm gonna find somebody new. Bye. So she didn't give it any chance. She's thinking selfishly. She wants him to suffer because of all of the issues that they've had. But the children, the daughter is really going to suffer and miss her father. So it seems like this is really like Jamie Lynn is moving and acting like her mother, actually. So as much shit as she talked about her mama and Lynn and all that, seems very, very similar. The narcissistic behavior, child. And I don't think that is right. It seems like, yeah, I don't think it was her job to help. It would have been kind to, but I think that she was just really trying to screw him. So she was like, forget it. You know, she was not even giving it any type of chance. So I don't think she got a heart on that front. So hopefully people see why I feel that way about her, because she doing this to Brittany, she doing this to everybody. I think she's a foul person. So
She had papers, court documents delivered to him while he was in rehab and once at the hospital. And so she's just very calculating. And whenever Casey was vulnerable and needed her most, she refused, to be there.
this comment makes a lot of sense because look, she's serving him papers in rehab. It's like I get it, and you got to do what you got to do for the children, but you can just tell she just is a foul broad. You can just tell that's what she gives. She don't want him to necessarily get better. She just wants him to continue to be an addict, just in a general sense, whether he gets better or not. So he's not in the girl's life.
While they were together, and then whenever they weren't together, she would literally try to mess with him more by waiting until he went to a rehab or something to literally send court documents. He got his adoption documents whenever he was in a rehab facility, and she sent them there.
Yeah, I don't want to gloss over these calculated moves.
Yeah, this is a point as well. He was using first, maybe before it was an issue, with whatever had going on with Brittany or vice versa. Maybe it was an issue like why she feels this way. She's been around a lot of addiction in her life. I mean, from her father, her mother, Brittany, her baby's father. So I do empathize with that. And that's a great point, Nicole, because yeah, I'm sure she has to be, or she's not tolerant of it. So I do get that part.
Because I think it's important. So, all right, so we've addressed the substance abuse. For some parents, that would have a problem. Obviously, it can cause drama with kids. I don't want to sugarcoat that, ignore that rather. But the reality is, he wasn't looking for full-time custody. So after that ATV accident, it took years before he could see her again. Correct? Can you walk us through how has he seen her? How has he attempted to see her? Have they avoided his opportunities? Attempts to see her? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
When you're younger.
All right, we got some more commercials. All right, questions, thoughts, and concerns, y'all. Let me know in the comments. We're gonna go ahead and get through this little euphoria commercial, okay? But yeah, I agree, Saucy Mom is given selfish, is given they're lost. It's very telling about her as a person. So I am feeling a little bit better about us going in on it because listen, hey, she was definitely out of line. All right, we got 5 more seconds in this commercial. All right, there we go.
First, it was just every now and then, Jamie Lynn would pick up the phone and
go back a little bit.
Opportunities, attempts to see her. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, at first, it was just every now and then, Jamie Lynn would pick up the phone and and we could do certain things, like we could go to her little fair at her school, or I'm trying to think, we went to a museum one time. We could go take her and do things at first, but then she stopped answering the phone and she stopped returning. I mean, she stopped, all of this communication, and then she wouldn't answer the door. My brother went to the house just to check on Maddie because he couldn't get anybody on the phone, and Jamie Lynn would never answer the door.
And keep in mind, it's not even like Jamie Lynn is here, you know, in LA or something, it's really like, listen, yo, y'all are both in Louisiana. Y'all are both here. She knocking, you know, he knocking on the door. They're both in the same state and it's smaller. So you know he can get to her. She is not budging. So, all right. And then Miss Spicy said, I just got here. Why are we feeling bad for this pill head again? So different thoughts, y'all. I mean, it's the point. He is an addict, so it may not be safe for the kid. It's two sides to it. So let's talk about it. Just because she wants to be the father's night doesn't mean just keep this family away too. So the general sense, maybe him, the sister, you know, the sister should be allowed, maybe the grandparents, she should have some type of contact. You know, it's very mixed messaging with this. It's kind of hard to tell, you know, what's the right thing to do. We all know that.
Was he going
So
through bouts of like anything that were problematic at that point, or was he sort of sobering up and not even really causing any trouble at that point? Was there a reason? Like, could there be a justified reason of, oh, he's a mess, I don't want you near Maddie right now?
no, he was actually doing really well at that time.
So he's sobered up, he's doing well,
Because-
he's trying to get a hold of her, and they're just ignoring him.
Right.
So how did he? What was the last time he did? Has he seen her since then? How did that happen? What happened?
Well, the last time he actually saw her was he found out that she had a basketball game through someone else. Someone had told him about it, and he showed up to her basketball game 2 years ago. And she was so excited. She was like thrilled to see him, and she literally ran up to him like they never even missed a beat, even though it had been a while then since he had seen her. But the last time was 2 years ago, and ever since then he hasn't seen her, so, or talked to her.
So he hasn't seen her, talk to her in 2 years since that game. Did Jamie Lynn? What was her reaction at that game? Was she like nice at least that that Casey was there?
Oh no, she was very angry that Casey was there. I mean, you could tell that she was very, very aggravated.
I'm sure the elite and the rich in Louisiana be like, "Ooh, child, that was Casey. Ooh, that was Jamie Lynn. Oh, child. Oh my God, did you see the Spears family drama?" I'm sure they'd be like, "Whoa, that's a basketball game." It looks pissed.
I mean, she literally looked at us like she just hated, like she just had hatred in her eyes, you know.
You were there. You were there too. Just so I'm clear, you saw this with your own eyes.
Yeah, and she literally, but she would always do that. She would always have that look in her eyes whenever we would show up. It was like she just did not want any of us to be around, no matter where we were, whether it was a game or a recital or whatever. It was just always like, oh, they're here, you know.
I mean, that bothers me. Look, even if he had issues, if he's working his way up and wants to be there, you shouldn't not let the kid's father be in the life. Like, that's just seemed, for me, in my opinion. I don't know, chat. You tell me down below in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they can set boundaries. You know, it's different things, you know, per se, I guess, that he could do to like see her. So, hey.
It just seems so weird and scary and mean to Maddie to sort of do that. Do you feel like they were trying to, what do you think they were telling Matt? I mean, I know in the book there's a whole, and I wanted to get to that next, there's a whole section in the book about how they, you know, got the name, like they took Aldridge away from her, and they say that Maddie was the one who requested it. Before even that even happened, there was a whole instance where they they took.
So it says, by the time Maddie turned 9, Casper had once again succumbed to using. Maddie started to talk about changing her last name to Watson. Her determination bordered on demand. So she's saying that Maddie was really pressed. The daughter, when she was 9, was pressed to change her last name. I don't believe that. I know when kids change their last name, it's a choice. Or when you take your stepfather's last name or on to another extended family, I don't even believe this first sentence being from a blended family and, you know, having 2 dads. I don't believe that she even reached out about being adamant about changing her name. This is a lie from the beginning. I can already tell. Her determination bordered on demand. I would have been like, girl, you still have a father. who wants to be in your life. It'd be different conversation if it would have been a totally different conversation if this was the fact that Jamie Lynn had a bad relationship with him and he just didn't want to be in the baby's life. It just made no sense. We explained that she didn't understand the lengthy process of adoption and that changing her name meant she would get the last name for the rest of her life. She did, in fact, understand. So you're letting a 9-year-old make this decision, Mom, but you're letting an 8-year-old ride the ATV. And it was important that she share our name. Casper wasn't having visitations with her anymore and run-ins with the law and continued, so I had to change. So she was basically saying she thought he was going to be out of her life forever, but she's only 9. I spent months contemplating what's best for Maddie, and everyone else did, including Casper's parents. And I desperately for Maddie to have a relationship with them, but the rift between father and daughter ensued, or whatever she's going to say. So
Aldridge away from her, and they say that Maddie was the one who requested it. Before even that even happened, there was a whole instance where they got full.
okay, so a couple of comments here. Let's go through these really quick. She loves her daddy. I'm worried that the baby, that what's going on with her, if JL gets her husband thrown in prison, yeah. So who's going to take custody? Child. Ooh, that's a deep one. What's going to happen if they all get locked up for something? What's going on? I would assume maybe they can, child. I don't think nothing going to happen to Jamie Lynn at this point. What's a good time allowing a minor to resume contact with a recovering parent? Everything's subjective. That's hard. I didn't have a parent that was my parents just weren't together, but I didn't have one that was using. So who knows, man? I mean, 9 years old. You say 9 years old? No way. Um, but kids have a voice. Kids are grown. So y'all saying kids are grown? They have a voice. Okay, y'all are right. They have a voice. But y'all think that okay? So y'all have kids. So y'all are saying they have a voice, and kids don't speak their feelings. So does this mean that you think that this Maddie really came to Jamie Lynn? So y'all tell me y'all think that Maddie came to Jamie Lynn and was like, I really want this. I really want to change my last name and that type of say. I know kids express themselves and I believe in all that. But you saying that you think that it was really Maddie's idea to change her last name. And y'all would have just been like, all right, I got it. I want to know for real, genuinely, not being shady. I promise.
Custody, right? And they were, I guess to paraphrase a little bit, they knew there was substance abuse issues, but he had a job at the time that paid him pretty well, right? And they sort of used that at the time because he was making money at the moment. The way custody works, as I've been through divorce, you're sort of judged by the court as to what you make at the time. Mm-hmm. So they sort of acknowledge, right. Jamie and her team sort of knew, okay, he's making some money. They forced him to pay a payment after.
Okay, so speaking from experience, seen it in her own family, when you have addicted family that's disappointing you, so she knows what's going on with her dad. Okay, so that's real. I've never experienced that with an addicted parent or anything. Listen, I get it. That's clear. Thank y'all for clearing that up. Ain't no child asking to change her last name. Think about it. She had a relationship with her father before she was taken away from the other side of the family. So all right, Saucy Mom says, listen, so y'all the mamas here, so y'all let me know. You know, some say yes, they've seen it, some say they would give it a chance. I think it's just all subjective in parenting. I don't think it's a right or wrong, y'all. I mean, I'm sure y'all feel the same.
After that he couldn't afford because he didn't have that job any further. And then that's sort of how they used that to get full custody, correct?
Right, yeah. So basically what they
Lord, here we go again with these ads. Here we go again with these ads. Here we go again with these ads. Here we go. If you guys are still here, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. I'm on my way to 2,500 subscribers. Make sure you are hitting that thumbs up. Make sure you are sharing with a friend. We've been here, child, for a while. All right, and we are back.
but the
that he couldn't afford because he didn't have that job any further. And then that's sort of how they used that to get full custody, correct?
Right, yeah. So basically what they did was they used the excuse of back child support. But the reason why he owed so much child support is because, like you said, they go off your previous tax return to tell you how much you're going to pay for child support. And he made a lot more that year at the job that he had that year. But whenever he took a pay cut, that needed to be changed. And they just kept putting it off and putting it off. And so anyway, he got behind on it. And what eventually ended up happening was they said, okay, well, you're either going to go to jail for not paying your child support, or you're going to sign over your rights. And it took him a while.
So it's two sides to the coin from what I'm gathering here. We acknowledge it's not a right or wrong, but in circumstances of drug addiction going on and moving forward through years and years and in and out of rehab, y'all are letting me know that this is harmful. I did watch the Dope Sick TV show with Michael Keaton on Amazon Prime, and it opened my eyes a lot to like opioid addiction, and people were on opioids and pills for years, decades. So I do see how they can affect people their whole lives, and how I mean, it's harmful. So I get it. It's both sides of the coin. I think some people may empathize with it more if you haven't experienced it, but if you've seen it and how terrible it is, you're like, no, no, absolutely not. So that's real.
And he didn't want to do it, but he didn't feel like he had a choice at that point. He tried to come up with the money before he signed and tried to do everything he could, but
man, so they were you. So I mean, clearly Spears have all this access to lawyers' money, and so they sort of. Do you feel like that was all a calculated decision to sort of let that add up and give him that ultimatum that he had no other choice?
Yeah, for sure. And what's really funny to me, or not funny, but what really makes me the most angry about it now is the fact that they basically backed him into a wall to sign his rights over due to money.
So I think that she's going to be anyway. The family of the father or the mother, whomever's going through it, they're always going to be more biased, or they're going to favor her brother. So I think inevitably this is going to be a little bit more towards her brother and trying to help her brother and wanting her brother to see the kids. So we get that. So it's not going to be a neutral opinion and a neutral story for this ever. We're going to always hear both sides, just like Brittany and Jamie Lynn, and just like Jamie Lynn the baby father now too. But we can't even hear his his side. I'm wondering why he hasn't came out. If he is, I want to know why she's the mouthpiece for this, honestly.
Due to him not paying them the money that they wanted, right? Okay, well, the whole time, Jamie Lynn and her husband and basically the whole family is stealing money from Brittany, but my brother has to sign his rights over for not paying them child support. It's just like, it's messed up. Like, it's not fair. It's not right.
Well, it's even more hypocritical because Jamie Lynn's father has abuse problems, right? Like between substances and facts that he has restraining orders against his own grandkids. Lynn, in her book, Through the Storm, BJ was telling me about this. Lynn was writing in our own book sort of the parallels between Casey and Jamie, and how they'd leave for bouts of time and they both had their issues. It's really odd to me, and I'm curious your thoughts. Jamie Lynn seems to, while she's had her up and downs with her father, it seems like she has no real issue with Big Jamie being around Maddie, but for some reason now Casey can't be there. Does that bother you?
Oh yeah, that bothers me. That's 100% hypocritical. I mean, it makes no sense at all. No sense whatsoever. I would love to hear her reason and her excuse for that,
Yeah, I would too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but another thing I wanted to get to is the fact they call him Casper in the book. Is that a name, like a legal name or something? Do you know why they're calling him Casper instead of Casey in the book?
No, that has, he's never ever been called Casper. That's not a nickname. As soon as we saw that, we were like, what, like, where did that come from? Literally. But I personally think that it was a dig on Casey. Like, I think that, she's calling him Casper. She's saying like, he's a ghost to them. That's just my theory. But just knowing Jamie Lynn and how her mind is, I think that's why she did that.
Wow, that's I mean that'd be almost too intelligent and literary for Jamie Lynn, in my opinion. But hey, it could be also. It's a cartoon character. That's something she knows. But so they call him Casper in the book. Okay, but I wanted to talk about this because when I read the book, I was dying to trying to figure out more here. Because all right, so they've already, guys, got to keep this in mind. They've already gotten the rights to sort of have full custody, but now Maddie wants to.
My bad, y'all. I didn't even realize I wasn't even over here on that. So by the time Maddie turned 9, Casper once again succumbed to using. So she said all that, changing her name, Aldridge, for the rest of the life. She insisted, in fact, understand that it was important that she share our name. Casper wasn't having any visitations anymore, and his run-ins with the law continued. I knew things had to change. I spent months contemplating what's best for Maddie and everyone, including his parents. I wanted desperately for Maddie to have a relationship with them, but the rift between father and daughter made a connection with her biological grandparents difficult. I spoke in length with Jamie, my folks, and even my priest.
Change her last name to Watson. Watson being the last name of Jamie Watson, Jamie Lynn's new husband. Maddie was 9 at the time.
When you're younger.
They're really getting me with these Euphoria commercials because it's like, bro,
Feels so permanent.
we already sitting here talking about all this type of mess, and then they got a Euphoria on here, child. We do not need to be looking at no more any type of drugs, girl. All right, let's get this ad off. All right, and we're back.
And Maddie's determination bordered on demand. We explained she didn't understand the lengthy process of adoption and that changing her name meant that she would give up the name Aldridge for the rest of her life, but she insisted she did, in fact, understand and was important to her that she share our name. Casper wasn't having visitations with her anymore. Was that intentional? Did Casper want visitations at that point?
That was because he could not get a hold of her.
So he's trying, so according to you, he's trying to get visitation, and instead they're like, no, we're going to, oh, by the way, Casper, we want to change it in. His run-ins with the law continued. I knew things had to change. I spent months contemplating what was best for Maddie and everyone else, including Casper's parents. It doesn't seem like she cares at all about your parents or anybody in your family. She desperately wanted for Maddie to have a relationship with them, but the rift between father and daughter made a connection with her biological grandparents difficult. So she's saying there's a rift between Casey and Maddie. Was there ever a rift between the two of them, to your knowledge?
Absolutely not. Not like literally nothing. There's nothing to even elaborate on. That's just a lie. That's a whole lie.
She goes on to say, I wanted to do the right thing, but most importantly, Maddie's.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Now, y'all, we're going to sit here 10 years from now when I have 1 million subscribers and we all, with our children, we all old and wealthy. We're going to sit here and watch Jamie Lynn's kids and Brittany's kids. Oh, Brittany's poor kids. They're going to have all types of stuff to talk about, child. They're going to be there. K-Fed going to probably come out of the woodworks, child. It's going to be, yes, this is going to be ongoing for years, y'all.
His well-being had to be considered above all else. I shared my deepest fears with Jamie, how I hated playing God and making such a profound decision that would affect Maddie forever. Jamie had always been supportive of Casper's remaining Maddie's father in name and deed, and stood by as Casper slowly disappeared from her life. So what do you think about this sort of story she's telling?
Didn't she say that that Jamie said that Casey was trash, but now she's saying that he had always been supportive of.
You are correct.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. She can't keep up with her own lies.
I just pulled it up. Good call. I forgot, but yes, you remember. Here's Jamie, who wants Maddie to have him in her life. Do you realize the mistake you're making for yourself and Maddie when she was going to get back with him? He's trash. He's proved it time and again. He's not reliable. Being with him is just bad. He's trash, and you being with him makes you trash. It makes me question everything I know about you. Thank you for reminding me, because yes, the walking contradiction that is Jamie Lynn Spears shows no bounds. So you're right. So she's again another example, guys. But do you, to answer the question though, was Was he trying to get out of her life? Was he slowly disappearing from Maddie's life at that point?
Also, if y'all just got here, I'm WelcometoChynna. I do a lot of reaction videos, all types of stuff on my channel. On my way to 2,500 subscribers, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell. Don't forget about that, y'all, if you're already subscribed, so you know when I'm posting. Ding, ding, ding. Also, we're talking to Britney Spears' first child's father's sister about his drug addiction and the drama and everything that's going on. Popcorn Planet, which is a YouTuber, he was kind enough to get us the interview, so we're reacting and watching it together. Sorry, y'all, I had to repeat a little bit, but I want everybody to know.
Point?
No, he was not. He was trying to do everything that he could. He was literally calling constantly. We were calling, we were texting, you know, we were trying to get a hold of Jamie Lynn to figure out when we could see her again. You know, if she didn't want to, you know, let her come out here, then we'll meet her, you know, like we had before, you know, literally going above and beyond to figure out what was going on. Casey even ended up going, like I told you earlier, to the house because he wanted to make sure that, you know, he at least wanted to lay eyes on her and make sure that she was okay.
And they just didn't even answer the door.
Yeah, they wouldn't answer the door.
So it's interesting. You can tell the Popcorn Planet host, you can tell he is already like pre-biased as I was about Jamie Lynn. So that's kind of his tone. So I don't think that he's interviewing with the lens of just like being neutral. I think Alex was trying to be neutral, and I think she did a good job. He's not as neutral. I mean, clearly, I mean, I don't think he has to be. Um, we are on Britney's side. He's been, you know, saying all that, free Britney and all that. But I do, this is kind of, she's starting to lose me a little bit. I'm like, okay, where's this going? We know he's on drugs. So I think the second part that drops tomorrow, that's going to be more interesting for us. You know, they always make us wait for the good parts. But I'm like, okay, what else now?
Do you, I mean, and then the other question I wanted to ask you, as they're saying here, do you believe it was Maddie that really wanted to change her name? Could a 9-year-old really be ready to do that and process that unless she's being fed a bunch of really negative stuff about her dad? What do you think there? Was that Maddie's decision, or do you think she was being fed a bunch of lies from Jamie Lynn to sort of push her in that direction?
There's a better way to make money.
Child, so she's going to answer the question. I'm pretty sure we already know what she's going to say, that it was Jamie Lynn's fault, as we already know. That's Robert the case. But I think we already discussed if it's too young, if it's not, whatever. I'm interested to see what she's going to say, and we're back.
That doesn't sound like Maddie at all.
Fed a bunch of lies from Jamie Lynn to sort of push her in that direction.
I definitely think that that she was being fed, because Maddie, that doesn't sound like Maddie at all. That doesn't sound like it's something that Maddie would do. I mean, like you said, 9-year-old is not really concerned about that type of stuff anyway. But even if she was, I do know that.
I wonder how much like Maddie has seen like him being strung out. I would assume that Jamie Lynn keeps it tight knit, like she ain't having him strung out, comes to the house, or you know, him being erratic, or you know, clearly looking like he's using it in front of the daughter. I would assume that. I believe that Jamie Lynn does love her kids and would try to protect them from that. So I would assume that it wouldn't be all up in Maddie's face like he coming to the game fried, or you know, not in his right mind. So I am still kind of like, I don't. I would assume that maybe she wasn't all up in the face of it, because if she was all up in the face and seeing it, then she would see the daddy. But now she's just hearing it, then it's on Jamie Lynn. But if she's seeing and experiencing it, then I'm like, okay. But it has to be one or the other. Like I want to know how much he's been in her face acting this way.
Maddie felt pressure from them to change her name to Watson, and so she asked them, could I change my name to could I have both last names? She wanted to know, could she have Aldridge and Watson? And they told her no.
See? Okay, so that's the thing. Now let's talk about that. Having both of your parents' last names. Now I've seen that happen. Steve Harvey, Lori Harvey. Lori Harvey is not Steve Harvey's biological daughter. All right. If you guys don't know, she's not. They all look the same. They're all beautiful people, all the same shade. So you think so. But that's not really his daughter. Now she has no relationship with her father. She got a pretty cutthroat mama. Her mama don't play. So they took on the Harvey's name. You're gonna be a Harvey. You're gonna be like Steve Harvey. All right. But now that they're bringing up, you can have both. I believe that Maddie loves her stepfather as well and considers her to be a father, but she also loves her biological father as well. So I think she would rather take on both, and that's more common. But they're like, no, one or the other. Now, I think that this is the case now that she's saying this, that it was the option to have both. Because if I don't have my biological father's last name, I have my mother's, but I would prefer to have both of them if I did have my biological father's name and then also my stepdad. So I get this. I get that. So now I'm still kind of like Jamie Lynn.
That she could have, no, she could change it to Watson, but she couldn't have both.
Oh.
So I guess that she just felt pressured, most likely just felt her mom probably gave her a guilt trip about it. So she was probably just like, okay, fine.
I mean, this was still it's not, babies are not a mistake. It was still a choice that Jamie Lynn made at a young age. Um, I'm sure it wasn't a planned pregnancy. She already admitted that. It was a surprise. So I do believe that she does wish or would like it in a perfect world, as a lot of women do who, get remarried or didn't have the best child's father or the best baby daddy, that they wish the new dad or the man that you actually have to pick as an adult woman was, her child's father. But I think that ploy and that feeling, she don't care nothing about nobody else except for that. And it comes back to her being selfish and just really caring about her still.
You know, that's probably what happened.
I mean, I'm grateful you're sharing this story because I don't look, I'm not there. I hate to try and get involved, especially when kids are there, but it's just important that Maddie at least know that her dad's out there and wasn't abandoning her, right? I mean, to me, that's when
Right.
you were sharing the story, and it made me want to inspire you to tell it, because I think you and Casey do need to try and tell this. So at some point when Maddie's old enough to sort of,
Where is Casey? Hell, Maddie's about to see all this now. Imagine how Maddie's about to feel. This is going, y'all. It's only January, y'all. Do y'all know how much we're gonna unpack this whole year with all of this? I cannot believe that this is what Britney Spears' legacy in her life, it's not over yet, has come to. Because this is crazy. When I was 6 years old, listening to Britney dancing, getting autographs, all types of stuff, I never would have thought that I would have to listen to this as an adult. But everybody grows up. So it's like watching your favorite celebrities become adults and everybody's people. But man, this is just not good, y'all. And where the hell is Casey? I want to hear from Brittany. I want to hear from Casey. I want to hear from straight from the source. I want to hear from the family. Jamie, Lynn. Like, I'm tired of it. Jamie Lynn, not Jamie Lynn, the daddy and the mom. I'm tired of it. I want to hear straight from the horse's mouth, because Ashley Aldridge starting to get on my nerves now too.
stop listening to her mom's story, her truth, she can attempt to go find her own, story here and figure out what really was going on, because there are really two sides to these stories. If you had a chance to speak to Maddie right now, if she's hearing this at some point later, and she very well could, and sorry.
Very true. I don't think Jamie Lynn has said anything about therapy or anything. She didn't touch on how they work through this. So again, if anybody heard this, hear how she was working through therapy or anything, I don't think she's even talked about this. I used to hit me, baby. Well, okay, my loneliness is killing me.
Sorry, Maddie, I wasn't trying to create drama for you or anything else, but I want to make sure you have the truth. What would you say from your family, and what would you want to say to her?
And they're still like, Maddie, Britney Spears is still your motherfucking auntie, and forget your mama. She bogus. Let me stop. That's what I say.
As she's looking into this,
I would want to say, Maddie, your daddy did not disappear. He did not abandon you.
Why is Casey not doing this interview? I get she made the post, but if Casey, I would love to hear from Casey. I would still love to hear from him. I mean, maybe Casey is back using, or maybe like he couldn't talk, or they didn't think it was going to be the best. But like, I hear this from her, but it's like she's going to watch this and still not hear it from him. So it's still like, kind of like, I want to hear this from Casey.
And I want to tell you that he's still waiting on you, and that we're all still here. We all still love you. Mimi and Papa are waiting on you. I'm waiting on you. Carter, Callie Joy, and Skylar, And Skylar misses you so much. We all do. I can't imagine what you've been through. But I just need you to know that none of this is your fault. And no matter what.
So she wrote out obviously a written statement about what to say to him. And yeah, Nicole Thespiana, I believe I agree with you. Yeah, they probably picked her to be the mouthpiece. It was something to it. I definitely think it was calculated for sure.
What it is or when it is, just know that we are always here for you, no matter what you need. And that's what I need her to know, is nobody has abandoned her, and we are still here just waiting
Jamie Lynn is turning in her boots,
and
y'all.
praying that things will change.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking, especially as you see the photos. I mean, and Skylar, you brought that up. Skylar's her sister, right?
I think Jamie Lynn really loved Casey too, or whatever his name, Casper. She really, really loved him too, because that was still her first love, her first child's father, the man who she decided to have a child with. Remember, she said she was trying to fly back and be with him. Like she cheated, did whatever. But listen, kids are kids and they do dumb stuff. But she might still feel some type of way about him too, because she still really loved him.
From Casey's other marriage.
Yeah.
And Skylar hasn't been able to see her sister, correct?
Right. And Skylar really grieves that. And Skylar, it makes Skylar think that something is wrong with her, because she thinks that she has done something, or that maybe she's not good enough for her sister. Basically, is she'll ask like, well, why doesn't she want to see me? Does she not like me? And so she's just very she prays every night to see her sister. So it's hard for a 7-year-old for sure.
I can't even imagine. Well, there's so much more I want to talk to you about, and there's so much more we need to get into. I do just want to reiterate, look.
That's the point too. Just because, yeah, his family's fighting doesn't mean Casey is. They could be fighting to see her. He could just be saying, screw Jamie Lynn. Like, I think more of this is going to come out. Okay, we're going on to the final 3 minutes. I believe that Popcorn Planet Andy is going to give us like a little recap and review, because tomorrow it's a part 2 to this interview where I think she kind of will touch on Brittany's life. But I'm happy that this wasn't not Brittany based at all. This was all on Jamie Lynn. So thank you for this, Ashley. I will say.
Look, it sounds like, Casey's had his troubles, right? He's gone through there. I don't want to ignore this. I don't want to deny this. And I'm glad you spoke about this. But these troubles, even according to Jamie in her own book, weren't ever putting Maddie at risk.
Oh, here we go. We got another ad. So y'all start sending final thoughts. I would love to like post these in the comments, because y'all know we starting to get towards our last couple seconds, couple minutes. So, how are y'all feeling about this? What are you looking forward to for tomorrow? Let me know in the comments, because it's gonna heat up tomorrow, I believe. All right, we're back for the commercial.
Life. It really bothers me that this is getting in the way, where you're not asking for full visitation. You're not asking for anything crazy. Supervised visits, even he would take, I imagine. You just want something to have some sort of relationship in Maddie's life. I mean, what would you say to Jamie Lynn if you could right now to sort of try to
I punch her in her face
for Casey?
I would just say you have no idea how much.
Ashley looks like she kicks ass. She looks like she like fights. They're country too. My family's from Louisiana. She Jamie Lynn, Mimi and Poo Poo was waiting. Jamie Lynn, don't let me get my hands on her. I'll beat her down. She actually look like she can do really good eyebrows and mascara, and she'll beat you down. I'm just saying, she looks like she fight.
Or maybe she does. I mean, how much hurt she has caused, and really at the end of the day, if she cares about Maddie at all, if she really loves Maddie and wants what is best for Maddie, then she would not be making this child believe that her father is nothing but a piece of crap with problems. Because whenever you do that to children, they think something's wrong with them too. And she is hurting Maddie worse than she's hurting anybody. That's what Jamie Lynn really needs to know. She needs to wake
Oh, Jamie
the
Lynn.
hell up, and she needs to apologize for what she's done, and she needs to start really thinking about what's best for her kids.
Well, look, I appreciate you sharing the truth here, Ashley, and I think you're gonna get a lot of people angry to hear that Jamie Lynn has done this. And again, I don't want to get involved in this with Maddie, but I'm glad we at least have something that when she's old enough to look this up, she can have it. So I applaud you coming out
Me
here.
too. Thank you so much. For
That was
She's already looked it up, child. I wonder if he gonna give us a recap for the one tomorrow.
the goal here. I don't want. She's still a minor, guys. I don't want to leave her alone. Please be nice. But this just broke my heart as a father. And I hope kids at some point will Google and look up what they need to know. And I think you gave a very heartfelt.
They talking about, can you do a GoFundMe
perspective
for
from the other
Maddie's
side.
father?
And I hope Casey's able to give that too at some point. Guys, there's so much more I need to ask Ashley about this. I need to talk about Miss Lou Taylor. We got some more stuff about Jamie, about Lynn, about all of it. What was going on with Brittany at the time? We're going to get to a lot more details with Ashley next. So make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts.
All right, y'all. Y'all do the same for me as Popcorn Planet. Make sure y'all hitting that notification and all that. Hoo-wee. So same place tomorrow, y'all. We'll go over it. We'll watch the second part. It seems like, I mean, she gonna give us a little bit more tea. I mean, I think we were able to gather pretty much the relationship, at hand that they have going on. But tomorrow, he's gonna do part 2. So we'll watch it tomorrow together. We gonna get all this Jamie Lynn stuff out, y'all. Also, let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to review, react to. I'm actually gonna do the Brittany Renner and Fresh and Fit reaction. I'm probably gonna get that out tomorrow. So I'm gonna start doing some more stuff because this Jamie Lynn and Brittany stuff will lull down. So shoot me a DM on Instagram if it's anything you want me to cover, anything you want me to read, something else you want me to react to. Make sure you guys send it my way. And yes, today was definitely a different feeling. I was not kikiing and cacaing like I was. Today was a lot more. It was just more sad for sure. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. It's your girl, Welcome to China. Let me know your thoughts. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell, ding, 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 so you can know where I'm at tomorrow and next week. And I will